Now, let me quickly take you to how different disciplines were born in Europe, okay, and how each of this discipline is unique. Like I said in the beginning of the lecture, it is important for you to appreciate what each discipline's spirit is, so that when a question is asked, you will be able to very easily, naturally answer what is the difference between political science and sociology, economics, and also, I mean, you are trying to be an IAS officer, and you should know that much. When somebody asks what is the difference between the two, you should be able to tell in no uncertain terms how they are different. Okay, now for as long as you know, for a long time in history, there existed mostly three disciplines. Okay, there was philosophy, there was mathematics, and there was literature. Okay, even 2000, 3000 years back, people wrote stories and poems, literature. They did mathematics, and there was philosophy. Now, philosophy had three, four major chunks, and all of this is these disciplines as we know them today didn't exist then. Although today we will say ki Arthashastra is the first economic treatise, first political science treatise, and all that. These subjects, these names itself didn't exist. Economics, political science, and things like that, geography, things like that. Now, people used to write and people used to think seriously, and any serious thought was philosophy. Now, in philosophy, there was moral philosophy, what is the right thing to do, or there was science, like science, trying to understand the world, trying to understand nature, trying to understand the universe. Eventually, by the time 13th, 14th, 15th century onwards, there is a breaking out, and people have started writing. Machiavelli writes The Prince and trying to tell how a ruler should rule. He wrote it in 13th century, 13th, 14th century, England, sorry, Italy. Or you have Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau. We discussed these thinkers. They're all writing and they're telling what the state should be, what is society, how are social beings, what are we. All these things are happening. In economics, Adam Smith writes The Wealth of Nations, and tries to tell how does through trade a nation can become richer, a society can become rich, and he tells how free trade is very, very important. So people are writing these books. As they are writing, what happens is there are these disciplines are born: economics, political science, sociology, history, geography, anthropology, psychology, philosophy. Now, first you need to distinguish between subjects which are sciences are anyway, simultaneously they were born: physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and all of that. They're all in the sciences department. Whether mathematics is a science or not is a different question, but let's assume, and they're all in the they're all in the sciences, hard sciences. Then there is a distinction between, and a distinction that you normally don't use or you use interchangeably. The distinction is humanities and social sciences. In our general language, we interchange them, but actually they are two very different, very distinct positions. Humanities are subjects that deal with understanding the human condition. They are subjects that help you understand or appreciate human condition, such as literature. Why do you read stories? Why do you read poetry? Why do you, okay, in some ways, even songs are literature, really. In fact, the recent Nobel Prize for Literature was given to Bob Dylan, who is a songwriter, like John Lennon. He's a songwriter. But brilliant literature. I mean, the songs are beautiful. They're beautiful poetry in that songs. Even in Telugu music or Hindi music, there are some songs which have beautiful poetry. The lyrics are brilliant. Why not? I mean, so it can be treated. So, but what is it that what literature is basically? It does two things. One, it tells you, or it gives you words, or it tells you what you feel. Okay, when you read a poem, some poem will stick to you, it will speak to you. You will feel like, yes, this is what I am feeling. And to know that another human has felt it and written it, whether it's a poem of suffering, whether it's a poem of discrimination, feeling discriminated, or whether it's a poem of love, or whether it's a poem of betrayal, to know that someone else has felt the same thing and has put it in words is is it is part of the experience of being human. Okay. And two, stories, all these great stories, one of the things is they tell us what the human condition is and how humans respond. They are basically abstractions. The stories are again abstractions of reality. In reality, what happens? You wake up, you brush your teeth, you go to the bathroom, you come, you wear your clothes. In stories, in movies or in stories, all of this is deleted. Only the important scenes are highlighted. A good story does not have all the mundane details. It goes to the, so in some ways it is an abstraction. It's a concentrated filter of everything that is high meaning. Okay, not the everyday meaningless things. It is concentrated. So literature is humanities, philosophy is humanities, because philosophy says that philosophy also tries to, it deals with morals, it deals with ethics, it deals with what is right for the human being to do and what is not. It deals with epistemology is a subject in philosophy. It deals with our human mind and how our human thought and how we think and how we actually know something. What is it to know something? When you know something, do you know it by experience, or do you know it in your head? Like, and does an idea come to you? Different kinds of fields are there. But philosophy is also in humanities because of two reasons. One, they don't adhere to strict method of inquiry. They just sit and they can imagine and write, like a literature guy can sit and write a story or write a poem. A philosopher can sit and philosophize. He can create ideas from his head just by sitting. There is no rigorous demand to go and have a particular kind of investigation method. It's not there. Therefore, they are in the philosophy also falls in humanities. um, so this constitutes humanities, which is different from social sciences. Social meaning there is more than one people, there are groups of people coming together, and science referring to that this social, the social phenomenon is studied through a scientific method. If it is not studied through a scientific method, it will go into humanities. Remember, the one difference between a social science and a humanities discipline is a humanities has no need to have scientific method. The social sciences, on the other hand, are social sciences because they study the social through a scientific method. That is precisely what makes them social science. Get that? Now, in that, there are again two ways. Now we are sticking to social sciences because your syllabus is actually for social sciences. It is not so much about humanities. Okay, sociology is part of larger business. So if you go to any university, you go to JNU, you go to Hyderabad Central University, you will have School of Humanities, different from School of Social Sciences. In School of Social Sciences, you will have history, geography, political science, economics, sociology. Roughly, these are there. Now, why these? Now we'll go into the details of each one. Also anthropology, and I'm sorry, sixth one, anthropology is also there. Because sociology and anthropology are sister disciplines. Normally we don't see each other as separate. In the university setup, we don't see them as separate. We actually see them as together. Anyway, now one cut that I want you to make is, and these are the cuts that you will use the moment you get the question in UPSC, whether history and political science, sociology and history, or sociology or political science, you should be able to immediately answer. Why? Because the first cut is history, geography, and anthropology are what are called ideographic subjects. Spelling is IDEOGRAPIC, ideographic. The other word, write it down now itself, it's called nomothetic, NOMOTHETIC, nomothetic. Now, Imagine geography or imagine history. No, history. Imagine history. What do you study in history? You study key, okay, ancient history, medieval history, modern history. What do you study in ancient history? You study in ancient history. Who were the kings? What were the kingdoms? What were the name of those kings? Who fought whom? Who did what? What you are doing is you are just describing what happened in the history. Ideographic, the word means that. It means writing, describing the idea as it is. Okay. In history, you describe a story, you describe the phenomenon, you describe that so and so king came in so and so here, he then became the ruler of so and so place from here to here. There is a lot of description. Geography for a long time was also like that until natural laws came and we started understanding Boyle's law and Charles' law and things like that, where oceanography and climatology came. Before that, uh, basically, geographers, what did they do? They took ships, they went to different places, and they started describing them. Geography is basically like in this mountain range, this pass is there, in this mountain range, this is there, this valley is there, this height is this much, its temperature is this much. If you come down, there are plains, there are Western Ghats, there are Eastern Ghats. Western Ghats height is this much, Eastern Ghats height is this much. What are you doing? You are describing. If you take the geography 11th class textbook of Indian geography, you basically describe the geography of India. You are describing what it is. You're just writing, like here it will temperature, here this much pressure, here it is hot, here it is cold, here this kind of flora, this kind of tropical forest will have this kind of leaves, this kind of trees, this kind of animals. Where are the tiger reserves? Where is this is all geography. Remember, where are the rivers, where are the mines, where which produce comes where. All of this is just description. There is no law to it. There is no law to it. These are just descriptions. Geography, history, anthropology. Now, this is where it gets interesting. History, once the question was asked, but geography, usually they won't ask. But anthropology and sociology are very close, and very often this question comes: what's the difference between anthropology and sociology? And unfortunately, I didn't see anywhere people describing this. One major, because anthropology is the study of human societies, the evolution of human societies. Sociology is also a study of human societies. What is the difference between the two? One major difference between anthropology and sociology is anthropology is a largely ideographic discipline. Sociology, on the other hand, is a largely nomothetic discipline. And that is where the difference lies between the two. I'll come to what nomothetic is, but for now, what ideographic is um, the ideographic, the anthropology is um, it describes. So if in anthropology, what do they do? They study a lot of tribes. They will tell you so and so tribe in this region. First of all, the geography is important, then the tribe is important, then in that tribe, what is the family structure, what do they eat, how do they talk, what is their language, what is their culture, what is their kinship system. Okay, everything about that tribe. But like that tribe, there exist 100 tribes in India itself, more than hundreds of tribes, and anthropology studies each of those tribes. I mean, an anthropologist, I know some anthropologists who have lived 40 years, 50 years in a tribe in the hills. They go and they live there. That's it. They eventually die there, and some of them got buried there also. And these are German, French, Austrian, American anthropologists who come and live and die here. Same with Africa also. They go, they study African tribes. One of the reasons why they focus on tribes is because they're trying to understand the evolution of human society, not. That's another difference between sociology and anthropology. Sociology studies contemporary society. Remember, we are born out of modernity, and to understand changes that came as a consequence of modernity. So we are focusing on the contemporary social phenomenon or contemporary human society, industrial societies. Anthropology studies also past society, also even before human beings, apes, and even before apes, animals. All of this physical anthropology studies all of that too. Um, so that is one difference between. Now the thing is, anthropology is also very descriptive. It describes. Like geography, like history, it only describes. So that is about these three disciplines. Now, I want you to focus on the word nomothetic. Nomothetic is, nomo means law. Okay. Until then, remember I told you last time when Aristotle was asked, um, they were metaphysical explanations. Aristotle's explanations of the universe were metaphysical. Now, what does metaphysical mean? It means it is the nature of the stone to fall down. That is why the stone is falling down. This is the explanation. It is the nature. So he is only saying there is a natural law, and the natural law is objects fall to the earth. They are not telling why. That is description. What do you see in reality? You observe, okay, anything heavy is falling down. You notice this. You all Aristotle did is he said everything that has weight, all objects fall to the earth. That is basically describing it. What did Newton do? Newton discovered the law of gravitation. And he said there is a force between every two objects, and that force acts at this much quantity. And he quantified it. And he said it happens at this speed, it happens at this acceleration. Okay, he gave formulas. Remember the word formula. He gave the formula for understanding gravitation. Now, that is a law. Newton's explanation of objects falling to earth is nomothetic. It is, he gave laws to it. Aristotle's is ideographic. He described it. He said anything that has weight will fall to the earth. What anthropology, geography, and history are doing is that they are describing things. What sociology, economics, and political science will do, or what they do largely, is that they give you laws of why that thing happens. So economics will tell you law of supply and demand. They will tell you if the demand goes up for a particular commodity, for a particular flavor of tea, there is demand going up, its price can go up. Or if price goes down, demand will go up. If supply goes up, price will go down. That's law of supply. So they are giving laws. Political science also gives laws. Sociology also gives laws. And that is how, why does it give law? It gives laws. I just told you in the earlier section with Zimmel, the scope of sociology is generally formalistic. We don't give formulas, because in social world it's, in fact, they actually try to give formulas. It's just that formulas don't work. They figured later. That evolution we will see. By the time we come to Max Weber, we will see why formulas don't work. But at least that was the promise, that was the hope, that you can make formulas for social world as well. Now, this is the major difference. Now, next class, we will go into individual differences. We will see sociology, anthropology. First, we will see sociology, anthropology, sociology, history, sociology, geography, because history, geography, and anthropology are ideographic disciplines. Now, within them, what is their each subject matter? It is different. And we will see them, okay, with sociology. And then we will see sociology, economics, political science, economics and political science. Mostly question will come here because they are also nomothetic disciplines. Economics and political science are also nomothetic disciplines. Largely question in this topic, comparison with other social sciences, it will come here. And I am expecting that probably next year or in the coming years, the question may have two disciplines. It will have compare sociology with economics also and history also. Now what I explained to you will give you a good footing to be able to answer like that. A lot of people will not be able to answer it because they don't know what is the basic distinction between these disciplines. What is an ideographic discipline and what is a nomothetic discipline? They are different. They're different approaches. And now you have an idea. And you also now know what is different from humanities. I actually wanted to clear more than this, but I am told that this is important topic and it is much better understood if you have slides. So I will stop here. We will go to this topic in the next class. We will go into each social science and discuss sociology and again straight away 10 to 15 marks, either 10 marks or 15 marks, straight away question with your foundation that I just laid. You should be able to answer no matter how much they twist. Sometimes in this question they are twisting it sometimes, but because, which is also why I laid the foundation for you, Given that the foundation is laid, you should be able to very easily answer, no matter how much they twist which subject to which subject, sociology to any subject, you should be able to answer it. So just go and check that nomothetic and ideographic examples. Google search those words, you'll get an idea. And don't go too deep into it. Don't spend more than 15 to 20 minutes on it. Don't spend more than 15 to 20 minutes, and don't write more than that. The more you see, the more you write, the more confused you get. It's better to have clarity.
So can you please explain that formalistic specialist sociology? I didn't understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, to understand that, you have to understand the word form, FORM, form. Okay, the word form or formal comes from, I gave you the example of geometry, where in reality you have shapes, but they are not perfect shapes. But in the subject of geometry, in mathematics, those shapes are perfect. A circle is a perfect circle. A triangle is a perfect triangle. And once you have a perfect triangle or a perfect circle or a perfect right angle triangle, you can make laws out of it. Although that circle and that triangle doesn't exist in reality, by being able to extrapolate and imagine a form, okay, you are imagining it is it's a mental construction. The humans created a triangle and a circle. In reality, they are different shapes. That's it. You are making one into a circle, one into a triangle, one into something else, and that you put it on paper, you draw it, and then you discover laws about it. Once you discover laws about it, those laws then you go and you can apply on reality. You can use trigonometric laws to measure the height of a mountain or the height of a tree by using trigonometry, the length of the shadow and things like that. You can do that. So what I'm saying is, by understanding the laws, by understanding the abstraction, by understanding the form, you can understand reality. But the form is not the real. Form is different from the real. So formalistic sociology says we shouldn't describe the real. We shouldn't say, in this tribe eats this food, it eats this meat, it goes and its rituals are this, its practices are this, its religious practices are this, its language is this. That is what anthropologists do. What we do is we study different types of marriages. Okay. So that different types of marriage that we tell, any kind of marriage in any tribe, you so in some tribes one man can marry many women. In some other tribe one woman can marry many men. In some tribes one man can marry only one woman. In some tribes one man, maybe there are tribes where they can marry, a man can marry man, whatever. Like, say there are 100 varieties of things. Now all 100, uh, if I am able to give formulas, if I say endogamy, exogamy. Endogamy is marrying within the community. Exogamy is marrying outside the community. Now see, now I have given a formula. It is like triangle and a circle. Now look at any marriage in the world. You can tell what is exogamous about it and what is endogamous about it. Now the word the concept endogamy and exogamy are sociological concepts. Sociology gave that concept so that when people are talking, they can tell caste is a endogamous institution. When you're saying that, what you're saying is that in a caste system, people marry within the caste. Gotra is an exogamous system. You can't marry within the Gotra. You have to marry outside the Gotra, largely. Largely, that is the case. Otherwise, it will become Sapinda Gotra. So what I'm saying is, or people of the same Gotra then become Sapinda. So you're supposed to marry outside the Gotra. What I'm saying is, different cultures will have different kinds of marriage rules, whom you can marry, whom you cannot marry, and all. But all of them will be either exogamous or endogamous. This exogamous and endogamous is the form. It is a perfect triangle. It will give you, it can describe any triangle in the world. Any real triangle in the world, like any real marriage in the world, can be described by this triangle, can be described by these two concepts, exogamous. So any marriage in the world, any marriage system in the world you take, in any tribe, any culture, any civilization, in the history, anytime, it will be either endogamous or exogamous. So endogamous and exogamous are forms of marriage. That is the form. It is a universal structure. Yeah, I hope I'm able to. Again, this is one of the most difficult, conceptually, one of the most difficult things to understand, to appreciate. Earlier also in the lecture, I told you, this is something we'll come again and again, and I will keep coming back to it so that it becomes clearer and clearer over the next few lectures. Yeah. Anyone else?
Thank you, sir.